Okay, let's get started. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carmine. Most of you know me because I was your trainer, I was your coworker, I am your business partner or colleague. So thank you so much for joining this live session. So as you must have seen, our topic today is Filipinisms, okay? And I'll tell you about it shortly. But first, I want to let you know that this is brought to you by ConsultAsia Global. I am a managing partner for ConsultAsia Global now. And in cooperation with SayItRightPH, as many of you know, SayItRightPH is my baby. It's a Facebook page. It started as a Facebook page 2-3 years ago. I don't remember anymore. And then I ventured into having a SayItRightPH YouTube channel. So I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber, but I'm not a vlogger. There's a distinction between a tutorial and a vlog, but the generic term is a YouTuber. I know I haven't produced any videos recently, but I will. And this is a step in that direction. Okay, so we will talk about 20 Filipinisms today. So let's start with what Filipinisms are. Alright, so Filipinisms, also known as Filipinoisms, are English words or phrases. Although they're English words and phrases, they are confusing to native speakers of English. So, sino yung mga native speakers of English natin? Americans, British, Australians, Canadians, and Kiwi. You know, the guys from New Zealand, we call them Kiwi. Filipinoisms or Filipinisms are words and phrases in English that are confusing to native speakers of English because people like us, Filipinos, use them differently. We use these English phrases and words differently from the standard. So, simple lang yung definition. If you have any questions, please just type your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, now I propose, since I'm going to give you 20, right? I'll give you 20 Filipinisms. I suggest that you keep track of what you are guilty of using. So, if you're using something right, then check. But if you're using something wrong, take note of it so that you know better when you use it next time. And by the way, so what if we say the standard expression in English? Okay, there are many advantages. First, if you work in the BPO industry, if you work in a call center, it's a huge advantage if you speak global English. When we say global English, it's the kind of English that the maximum number of people will understand. So the more global your English is, the more people will understand you. And if you have a very important message to say, then you are doing that responsibility justice because you're using language that is understood by many. Okay, by the maximum or the optimum, hindi yung minimum. So what I'm saying is, if we speak Filipino English or Filipinisms, we limit the number of people who understand us. And that's why we encourage people to speak global English. If you work in the call center, the BPO industry, if you work in tourism or in the hotel business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a seafarer, or let's say you work on a cruise ship, if you deal with entrepreneurs from other parts of the world, English is very important. And even if you speak, you have to communicate with somebody who is not a native speaker of English, chances are you will use English as your common language. Okay, let's get started. The first one is, I think, very obvious. We'll start with words first, okay? Words. Ito na yung mga mas simple. Ito yung mga mas obvious na Filipinisms na sinasabi natin. And feel free to type in your answer, okay? I don't mind if you do that. Alright, first Filipinism. CR. Do you agree? Do you use that? CR? CR stands for comfort room. Alright, so that's the Filipinism. If an American talks to us, and then we say comfort room, chances are they don't know what we're talking about. They know the word comfort, they know the word room, but they don't know comfort room. What could that possibly be? CR or comfort room. But you know, the Americans I know, or the native speakers I know, they get a kick out of learning these local English, CR. Okay, so what is the standard expression for CR or comfort room? It's restroom, ladies' room, or men's room. So avoid saying CR. Teach yourself to say those. Avoid saying CR. Alright? Next. If I need something to write with, I will ask, sasabihin ko sa'yo, you know, if I'm the typical Pinoy, do you have a ball pen? Right? So the Filipinism there is ball pen. The correct expression is pen. When we ask, do you have a pen? All we're asking for is a writing instrument. It doesn't matter if it's a ball pen or a fountain pen or a felt tip pen. What's important is something to write with. So we just say, do you have a pen? So remember that. Pen. Alam niyo ba kung bakit ball pen ang tawag doon? Kasi yung dulo niya is a ball, and that's what manages the ink coming out of a pen. That's the most common kind of pen, the ball pen, and it's cheap. But then again, not all pens are that kind of a pen. So let's just altogether avoid saying ball pen. And you know, I've seen this happen. Like a local would ask an expat, an American, and then he's like, I don't have a ball pen, but I have another kind of pen, right? So let's not give them trouble that way. And again, it's more global to say pen. We're done with pen. So far, ilan kayo? 2 out of 2? 1 out of 2? 0 out of 2. Okay, next. If I have a birth certificate and I need to make a copy of it, what word do we usually use for that? Kailangan Xerox. Xerox. So, the standard expression is to photocopy. Photocopy. Everybody say it, photocopy. Right. So, let's avoid saying Xerox. Pa-Xerox mo yan. Ipa-photocopy mo yan. And it's okay to speak Taglish, but let's use the correct terms. Photocopy. One more. Ayan. Eto, sa mga guys to madalas eh. Diba, usually sa office, we tuck our shirts. Okay? We tuck our shirts. And the verb is, let's say, we're telling someone na ituck nila yung shirt nila. We ask them to tuck your shirt in. Right? We say that. Tuck your shirt in. Pero, if somebody's shirt is not tucked in, sinasabi ng karamihan, tuck out daw. So, the correct expression is untuck. Okay. Untuck your shirt, or his shirt is untucked. Okay? Let's avoid saying tuck out. There's no such thing. Kasi parang oxymoron yun eh. To tuck is to, you know, to press in or to, you know, to push in. To tuck. Pero walang tuck out. Welcome to the guys who just joined us. We are on our fifth Filipinism. And just to review, Filipinisms are English words and phrases that non-native speakers of English find confusing because they are in English, but they are used differently. And, you know, we veer from the standard expression. So, very local yung usage ng Filipinisms. Only we Filipinos understand each other when we use Filipinisms. Pero native speakers of English don't understand us. So, we've gone through tuck out, that's a Filipinoism. CR is also a Filipinoism. Ball pen is a Filipinoism. And then there's one more. Xerox. Okay. So, what do you usually feel? We're on our fifth one now. How do you usually feel when you see si crushy? When you see your crush? Most Filipinos would say, I was conscious. Right? Conscious ako. I was conscious. I was not conscious. Okay. So, conscious means you're awake. You're aware of what's happening. You're aware of your surroundings, right? The opposite of conscious is unconscious. So somebody who is comatose is unconscious. All of us right now are conscious. So it doesn't make sense when we say, I saw my crush, I was conscious. It doesn't make sense. Okay? Kasi gising tayo. So, no, bawal yung conscious kasi it's used incorrectly. So, the correct term is self-conscious. Okay. I saw my crush, he spoke to me, I was self-conscious. It was my turn to speak in front in class, and I was so self-conscious because I get nervous when I speak in front. Okay, let's continue. So far, what's your score? Okay, when we're traveling and we're allowed to carry a bag into the airplane, lalagay dun sa taas, diba? That thing that we're holding, or the bag, is not a hand carry. Okay, we Filipinos understand hand carry, but the standard expression is carry on. In Tagalog, when we talk about something that happened very recently, like an hour ago, 30 minutes ago, we often use the phrase a while ago. Okay, just a few minutes ago, a while ago. Okay. So you know, while is a long time. So a while ago is like days ago or weeks ago or even months or years ago. So when you want to say kanina, just say earlier. Teach yourself that. That's very helpful, and you sound more intelligent, you sound smarter, you sound like you have a better grasp of the language. Avoid saying a while ago when you mean 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. Okay? It's a telltale sign that you have not grasped the language very well if you say a while ago when you mean earlier. So say earlier. Who's guilty? So earlier. Now related to while or a while. On the phone when, you know, somebody, uso pa to noon nung may landline pa eh, diba? Somebody calls and then somebody else picks up. Sa phone, sa office pwede, right? Okay, so can I talk to Grace, for example? Hi, Grace. If you want to talk to Grace and I picked up the phone, you say, can I talk to Grace? If I use Filipinisms, I would say, oh, for a while, right? Okay, so again, while means a long time. So when you say for a while of English, you are telling him you will be gone for a long time. You will be putting him on hold for a long time. Don't say for a while. You know, that's a Filipinoism. Say, can I put you on hold for a minute? Can I put you on hold for a second? So, let's do that. Avoid a while ago and avoid for a while. Ayan, may mga umaamin naman kung sino yung mga guilty at hindi. Thank you. That's good. And it's good to be self-aware. How can we correct something if we're not even aware? So, thank you for joining this session. It's for you. It's something that we put together. When I say we ConsultAsia Global and SayItRightPH. And by the way, I'd like to give a shout out to ConsultAsia Global, Clark, and Subic. So, do we have participants here? Are any viewers from Clark and Subic or nearby areas in Clark and Subic? Please send a message. O, ayan, may mga heart. So, siguro sila yung mga taga-Clark at mga taga-Subic. Are any of you from SayItRightPH, like followers of SayItRightPH? You can send hearts or likes. Okay. Now, let us go to... Ito, nainis talaga ako dito. You know, during elections, we often hear these words, senatoriable and presidentiable. These words were made up by, I don't know who, maybe the media. Sorry, my friends in the media. I don't like it, senatoriable and presidentiable. Only we understand that. The standard expression is senatorial candidate or presidential candidate. And remember that. I think I saw in one of the online dictionaries the word presidentiable. So it's there. That's the definition. But it also says mainly used in the Philippines. So what does that tell us? It's a Filipinism. Okay, next. Ito, we're getting into phrases. So when you receive something, libre, no? Libre. So you bought something and then it came with a gift. Or you subscribed to something and you got something free. So it's not standard to say it's for free. It's not standard to say it's for free. It should be, it's free. Filipinism, it's for free. Standard expression, it's free. It's that simple. I often hear this when I ask about a certain date. When did you graduate, for example? It's my question. When did you graduate? And then they answer with, I graduated last 2010. Okay. So what's incorrect there? The word last. Okay. It's incorrect to say last 2010, last 2015, whatever year you say. If you say last, it's incorrect. And this is why. Because when we say last, we assume that there is a first, a second, or a third, and so on and so forth. So when we say last 2010, we are also implying that there was a first 2010, a second 2010, a third 2010. So it's incorrect to say 2010 because in the history of time, there is only one 2010. So we just say in 2010. I graduated in 2010. And even if you have a date there, for example, I joined the company on September 10, 2010. Okay, that's the correct expression. I joined the company on September 10, 2010. Again, there's no room for last, even for a date, because there is no first September 10. There's no second September 10, etc., etc. You get the idea, okay? So forget last whatever. Just say on or in, depending on what follows it. Any questions? Yes, we'll run through your questions. last year. Okay, I don't have that on my list, but since it's related to the word last. Thank you, Den. Last week versus last week. Okay, only we Filipinos understand that. Okay, it means 2 weeks ago. So if it's last week, just say 2 weeks ago or the week before last. Eto. Maybe some of you are guilty of this. I have friends who are guilty of this. I wonder if that friend is watching. But I also know that friend knows the correct way of expressing it. It's just that he's lazy to say it right. Remember that? Say it right. SayItRightPH. Okay. So, let's say the conversation goes like this. Uy, alam mo yung bagong libro ni, let's say, ni Jack Canfield. Alam mo yung bagong libro ni Jack Canfield? Sasagot, what about? But the correct expression is, what about it? What about it? So, instead of saying, what about, please complete your sentence and say, what about it? Ano tungkol doon? What about it? Next, pass by. What does pass by mean? Come on, type it in. What does pass by mean? I will pass by the supermarket on my way home. I'm asking you guys, what does pass by mean? In English, to pass by means to literally pass. So, if I'm coming from Makati and I'm going to Quezon City and I'm taking EDSA, I will pass by Mega Mall. Get it? Literally, dadaanan ko siya. I will pass by Mega Mall. It doesn't mean dadaan ako sa Mega Mall. It just means madadaanan ko siya. It's along the way, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop. So, if you mean you will swing by or you will drop by someplace, say it that way. Don't say, I will pass by. Kasi pass by means lalampasan. Literally, you will pass it. Alright? Remember my example, if you're coming from Makati and you're going to Quezon City and you're taking EDSA, you will definitely pass by Mega Mall. But if you need something from there, then you have to swing by Mega Mall. Yes! Ayan, drop by, swing by, pop in. We're gonna pop in and say hello to my tita. Right? We're not gonna say, I'll pass by my titas. Okay. Swing by, drop by. Don't say pass by unless you're really just passing by. When somebody said something and you didn't get that, you didn't get what they said, do you say, come again? Come again? Alright, let's avoid saying that, come again, because it's awkward and it's just awkward. Okay, so instead, let's say, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I beg your pardon. Can you say that again? And it's okay to ask somebody to repeat what they said. Kesa naman, you're pretending that you understood what they said. And do not say, come again. Can you say that again? Can you repeat that? But don't say, can you repeat that again? We'll talk about that later. Next, salvage. Salvage, okay? Salvage or salvage. What does that mean? How do we use that as Filipinos? What does salvage? Salvage. Wait, that's the correct pronunciation, salvage. Right, to salvage something means to save it from destruction. Like, you salvage something from the trash can. Let's say there's a photo frame that your mom disposed of, but you like it, so you salvaged it, right? So you took it out, you saved it from being destroyed. That's what to salvage means. But in the Philippines, when we say salvage, yes, to salvage is to save. It's related, wow, related to the Spanish salvaje. Anyway, I don't think so. I think it's more related to salvation. Anyway, in the Philippines, we say it this way, uy, mag-ingat ka, baka masalvage ka dyan. Right? So it doesn't make sense. We mean that you might get abducted, you might go missing, and you might get murdered. That's what we mean by salvage. But, you know, when you talk to someone, and a native speaker, and you say salvage, they might think you actually prevented something from being destroyed. So just say he went missing and eventually his body was found, right? He disappeared and he was murdered. Avoid na salvage, or he was salvaged. It doesn't make sense, okay? He was salvaged. Alright. Do you guys miss EDSA? For those who are in Metro Manila, do you guys miss EDSA? Given the lockdown? I do. But there's a lockdown, so would you say, let's say there was no lockdown, you know, and days were normal. Do you say, it's so traffic? It's so traffic. It was very traffic. I'm so sorry I'm late. It was very traffic. Do you say that? So avoid saying that. Traffic is not an adjective. It is a noun. Traffic, again, traffic is not an adjective. It does not describe. It is a noun. So traffic is the cars moving in the streets, in the roads, or even in the hallway. There can be traffic. There can be people traffic. Okay. So, how do we use traffic? In a sentence, when speaking in English, we describe traffic. So we say, traffic was very light. Traffic was unusually light. Please expect heavy traffic. Traffic was moderate. Traffic was a breeze. So describe traffic. Do not use the word traffic as if to say, hindi gumagalaw. yung sasakyan. Or ang bagal ng galaw ng sasakyan. Who's guilty of that? I think in Filipino, that's the natural tendency really. And that's okay when we're speaking in Tagalog. But when we're speaking to native speakers of English, let's avoid saying, it was so traffic. Doesn't make sense. Just a few more. I think I have 5 more. Ano na score nyo? Would you say 50% or 75%? This is a common confusion. To fall in line. To fall in line is a Filipinoism because it's a combination. This is my own theory. It's a combination of to fall in, right? To those who went through ROTC or CMT, CAT, military science, the commander or the leader would say, fall in. That's different from being in line, and the request is to stand in line. Okay, so that's what we want, to stand in line. So I can say, I stood in line for an hour outside of the supermarket. I stood in line. Be sure you charge your phone because you will be standing in line for an hour and a half. Okay, don't say fall in line. Just say stand in line. To go down means to go from a higher spot to a lower spot. Okay, a higher point to a lower point, or in terms of numbers, from a higher number like a grade to a lower one. Okay, that's to go down. But when we say bababa ka na sa kantong yan, we don't say I will go down the bus or I will go down the jeep. Because when you say go down the bus, it implies that you were on the roof of the bus and then you're just going down. Mababa ka. The correct term is to get off the bus, get off the train, or get off the jeepney. You get off at your stop. Okay, that's the correct expression. So forget go down the bus unless you're really on the roof of the bus. I think some provincial buses allow that. Like there are passengers, there's luggage and baskets on the roof of the bus. So I guess in that case, we'll make an exception. Okay, 3 more. I have 3 more and then we can discuss a little bit. I can go through your comments. You can ask questions. Again, shout out to those who are in Clark and in Subic and in the nearby areas. In Pampanga, in Zambales, and in Bataan. All right. Oh, actually, no, I don't have 3. I have 2 na lang. I have 2 na lang. You talk like that. Since I left the call center industry, I've been speaking a lot more Taglish, a lot more. Yeah, a lot more Taglish. By the way, speaking of Taglish, did you know that there's such a thing as modern Filipino? Right, so it seems the battle to make Filipino our lingua franca, the common language, is a lost one, a lost cause, because nobody really speaks Filipino, pure Filipino. Many of us speak Taglish. Even I cannot speak straight Filipino. And so there's this new thing, and I'm not sure how new, maybe it's even old. It's called modern Filipino. It's a combination of Filipino and it's a combination of English. The argument is, why do we need to force to have a Filipino term for words that really have no Filipino equivalent? For example, evacuation. Well, maybe likas is the nearest term, but it's not exactly that. Likas, evacuation. Those are 2 different things, although they're related. So the suggestion is to just use the word evacuation or evacuee. By the way, bakwit. Did you know that in these evacuation centers, an evacuee in the common language is called bakwit, as in it's spelled like BAKWIT, bakwit. May mga bakwit dun. But we would say may mga evacuees doon. So anyway, there's such a thing as modern Filipino now, and I'm curious about the rules of spelling, the rules of grammar. It's another lesson. That's a pet peeve of mine. To me, even if you're speaking Taglish or modern Filipino, there should be grammatical rules. For example, na-received mo na, right? It's na-received mo na. It should just be na-receive mo na. Or paki-fill out mo. By the way, that's another one. That's a bonus one. It's fill out a form. It's not fill up a form. Anyway, so paki-fill out. Hindi paki-filled out. It's fill out a form. It's not fill up. When you fill up something, you fill something like a tank. A fuel tank, a water tank, a bucket, you fill it up. But if it's a form, it's fill out. Okay, last two. When somebody tells you, let's say you're seated at a bench or at a table at a restaurant and you can only share, there are no other seats. Somebody might ask you, do you mind if I sit here? Do you mind if I get this chair? Let's say you need that extra chair. Many Filipinos would say, yes. Okay, remember that. The question is, do you mind if I sit here? Do you mind if I get this chair? Many Filipinos would say, yes. So, if it's okay for you that he takes the chair, then you should be saying, no, I don't mind. Okay? Because do you mind means something like, do you have a problem with this? Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem if I take this chair? That's what do you mind means. And that's why the response should be, no, I don't mind. Go ahead. If you say, yes, do you mind? Yes, that means you have a problem with it. Okay? So remember that. Do you mind if you're helpful, if you're willing, say, no, I don't mind. Go ahead. Sure, help yourself. Yes, you like that? Aircon, yes. That's a Filipinoism. Native speakers of English call it the AC. Letter A, letter C for air conditioner. But, of course, we call it aircon. Here at home, we say aircon. Again, these Filipinoisms we use among us Filipinos. What I'm saying here is, if we're talking to native speakers, we should be aware of what's standard so we can be understood by them. Okay? Because Filipinisms can be confusing to native speakers of English. Last, you probably have encountered this. Lalo na yung mga young girls dyan. Yung mga young girls dyan, tapos merong mga gusto makipagkilala sa inyo, and the first thing that they tell you is, by the way, my name is... Sorry, Ernest, I'm gonna use your name. The first thing they tell you is, by the way, my name is Ernest. So, by the way is used as an afterthought. Parang, nga pala, kasi you had a conversation, matatapos na yung conversation nyo, and then you remembered something, then you say, by the way. By the way, I'm going to have a party on Sunday. Please come. I'm inviting you and your family. By the way. So, naalala mo, and that's why you're saying by the way. By the way is never the first thing that you say to someone, right? You meet each other, like, I don't know, at a party, nagkatinginan pa lang kayo, and you say, by the way. That's so funny. All right. Okay, so that was my last. By the way, how did you score? How did you fare? Any questions? Tahimik yung iba. They probably already know. Yung maiingay, quote-unquote maingay. Den and Ernest, thank you for your very active participation. All right, any questions? To our NTMA cadets or ex-cadets. It's not cadence, okay? It's cadence. Well, that's pronunciation. We'll talk about pronunciation some other time. By the way, if you have suggestions for topics, if you have suggestions for topics or another set of Filipinoisms you'd like us to cover maybe next session, just type it in there and we'll take note of them. Alpha, your daughter is also learning. That's great. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Very nice comment. Very sweet. You're watching from Santa Mesa, Manila. I wish you guys had that opportunity to share with everyone verbally where you are and say it ala Binibining Pilipinas or Miss Universe. Tim Zapata got 15 out of 20. Good job! Great! Tin Ahoro, watching from Santa Rosa, Laguna. Batiin ko lang kayo. How often do you get greeted in an FB live session? Ruth learned a lot today. Where are you from, Ruth? Ruth Basnilio. Where are you from? Thanks, Ivy. Sheila Cruz, you're welcome. Neil Peñalver. All right, that was everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I think we had, the max number, the highest number of viewers at one point was like 51 or 52, but I think we stayed between 45 and 50, so I consider that a success. Thank you very much for tuning in, for joining us. Tell us what you think of what we did today. If you have any suggestions for topics, again, we welcome them. You can message us on, and here's the commercial, the real commercial, the call to action. Please like and follow ConsultAsia Global, Clark and Subic. Again, it's an FB page, ConsultAsia Global, Clark and Subic. Yes, we will be in Clark and Subic very soon, as soon as this lockdown is over. In fact, we had schedules of sessions in Clark, but because of the lockdown, they're not going to happen. So we're going to move the schedules. Yeah, please like and follow ConsultAsia Global, Clark and Subic. The other page is SayItRightPH. That's the older page, and it has 18,000 likes and followers. We feature bite-sized lessons in English related to word choice or grammar or pronunciation or even idioms. So please like and follow. And because of the success of the FB page, by the way, I say it's successful because there are 18,000 likes and followers. And you know what? About 70% of the 18,000 are very young people, like 18 to 24-year-olds, and they are from all over the country. So we're doing this because we realize that young people are hungry for knowledge like this. Maybe what's happening in our schools, our public schools, maybe even private schools aren't enough. They don't teach us global English. They don't teach us correct pronunciation or word choice or even grammar, right? And that's why we do this. That's why I do what I do, and that's why we do what we do at ConsultAsia Global and also at SayItRightPH. So yes, because of the success of SayItRightPH, the FB page, we/I, when I say we, that's just me, I decided to come up with a YouTube channel. And it goes by the same name, SayItRightPH. There are very few videos on there, but if you could, give me suggestions for topics you'd like me to cover in very short tutorial videos on YouTube through SayItRightPH, yeah, please let us know. And please like and subscribe. Imagine I'm saying that. Like and subscribe! Once again, we appreciate you joining us. We appreciate the support, the participation. Please let us know your thoughts and any other requests for future sessions. Please stay safe during the quarantine. Stay home, sanitize, eat right, sleep right, say it right. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you again next time.